Hello, what's going on, guys? Phoenix61 here, your host for this World of Warships Legends video. We are in the Shimakaze today. So, this we didn't, we have a good game here, but it wasn't like a particularly epic sort of game. But I wanted to do a recording on this one just because there were so many like points to call out when it comes to like strategy. So if you notice, when I got into this, I was crazy excited because there are 5 battleships, all legendaries, massive health pools, right? So it's like a Shimakaze's dream to be able to go and hunt these guys down, right? But I think there's something to be said here. So, like, originally I thought, like, when I looked at the spawns, we had a destroyer on our side, destroyer by the A cap, and no destroyers by B. So I almost went to B just because of that. But then I was like, you know what? Like, we're in the Shimakaze. It's not a gunboat. Like, if I get confronted and spotted there at B, you're so out in the open that, like, I'm gonna take all the fire, right? There's nowhere to hide. You'd have to use your smoke screen, and then you'd be, somewhat stuck there, right? Like, you'd have to sit in your smoke screen and or run away, like, with the smoke screen directly behind you so you don't get picked up again, right? So I do like to sneak into this side and fire torpedoes right up this alleyway here as far to the left as I can. Sometimes I'll move a little bit further forward, a little bit out wider. So, say go around this little island here even more. And the reason I like to do that is because lots of ships like to park it kind of right where that curve first is, like right now, right? So they'll sit there and they'll let they'll let destroyers and airplanes and stuff spot for them. But we get lucky here because there's no destroyer on the enemy team that spawns on this side. So there's a little bit of luck there. We cap this zone super fast because it's me and this other destroyer in here at the same time. And then, yeah, there's a broadside. What is that? That Yamato? Just broadside to the enemy. So, like, really, really not a great move there. But I think I get where he's going. He's like, oh, man, he wants to turn away because he saw the zone get capped, right? So he knows there's destroyers in here. So it's, like, fair enough, but, like, you really wrecked yourself even more, right? So, yeah, he's getting picked on like crazy because he took that big hit and he was broadside, right? So everyone wants to kill him off, right? And so we only get 1 torpedo hit out of that volley that we sent up, kind of battleship alley right there. Because, yeah, this Kurfürst, in the Kurfürst, they have sonar too, right? So he may have had his sonar going, which would have picked up our torpedoes for all the other ships too. But as you can see, everyone on this side is retreating. So it's 4 of the 5 battleships, and it's just kind of like, I don't know if I want to say like bad luck for the enemy team for like their spawn situation. But if you look at B, like their destroyer, it just came super out, way far out. And so no one's supporting these 4 battleships on this side. And I think that Kurfürst realized it, and so strategy-wise, if you think this is what's happening, what he's doing is the counter to it, right? He's moving away. And now these guys are kind of, these Yamatos up here, they're in a little bit of a pickle now at this point, and they're backing up. So what we're doing is we're keeping these guys spotted for our team, and then literally just waiting for torpedoes to reload. I get like so overly excited here. Yeah, so I took that shot at that Kurfürst, and, again, he may or may not have sonar going too, but he gets a little bit lucky there with that dodge. I anticipated that he would go up that direction instead of turning in offensively, But yeah, so in my mind, he's kind of the only one that made the smart play here, knowing that you don't have cruiser or destroyer support, and you're in a slow-moving battleship, and you've got at least 1, possibly 2 destroyers lobbing torpedoes your direction, right? So move away from that situation to a point where you do have support, right? So we're just like, this is our dream, like right here, right? Like I just kind of have a little bit of bad luck with, getting hits on some of these guys, right? So I'm kind of trying to divide and conquer. I'm like, all right, I'm going to shoot 1 at that guy, 1 at this guy, right? So just like, and then I don't, because of that, I'm not spacing my torps out really well either. which is another thing that's like one of those things where I'm like, do as I say, not as I do. Like it's really good advice, and then I don't follow it myself half the time. And then we are going to get a better shot off at this Conqueror, right? Given he at least somewhat stays on track. I've heard a little bit more forward in case he like decides to stop or slow down. We'd still get at least 1 or 2 hits, maybe. But yeah, so I sent Torps at 1 rack at everybody, and I think the only one we end up getting hits on is the Conqueror, right? But what we're doing here though is like we're pressing them back even further and further. Now, if we were in like a situation where we needed more zones, like this would be working great, but we've already got the C cap. But you could see like my team is doing the right thing, and they're pressing forward, right? They're pressing in and moving in so that they can get these hits on these battleships that are in full on retreat mode. But yeah, so we get the devastating strike on that Conqueror, and then yeah, we've got this Yamato out here who still has a lot of health, so I'm still a little bit excited about him, right? So we are up to 60,000 damage with a kill, and yeah, Shimakaze torpedoes, guys, just wicked brutal. This is why battleship players hate Shimakaze so much. But what we're doing is, we're understanding our ship's strengths and weaknesses, right? The guns are kind of lame on this ship. It doesn't have a particularly good health pool. It's decent for legendary tier, right? And then you don't have anything special like sonar or whatever. You get your standard engine boost and smoke screen, right? So it's all in the torpedoes really, and it's all in concealment. So what I've done is you build into that with your commander loadout, right? So make the good things better is kind of my general rule of thumb. And then yeah, we get 3 more hits on that that Yamato, and then somebody gets the last little tickle for the kill, right? But this is what I'm saying, like the counter to being overwhelmed by destroyers like that is to move away from it and go where you have support. So go where you have cruisers or destroyers that can help you pick those guys up. So this Kurfürst, like, he's, someone might say like, oh, he's just, he's being a pussy, he's running away, like whatever. But like, he's got the most health. He's still firing his guns. There's still enemies, for him, there's still guys on our team that are in range for him to shoot. So, right. So he's the guy that's still getting XP and hits and doing damage, right? Now, of course, their team has no chance, but, and that's what I like to do. Like, well, in some cases, right? Like, if I'm, sometimes when I'm in this situation, I'm the last man standing. I'm like, all right, let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can take out another ship or whatever. And then, depending on my mood, sometimes I just go and suicide run, YOLO, push, and yeah, but yeah. But in my mind, this Kurfürst made the smart move. He saw all the torpedoes coming through in the beginning when he spawned. He realized there were no destroyers or cruisers to support him on that side on the sea cap, so he moved away from it, right? And even though he's a little bit more set up for taking out destroyers, right? Like, he's got sonar, he's probably got decent secondaries on there depending on how his build is, right? But yeah, and then he's kiting away here, right? So you get, you can still fire at the enemies. You're in a defensive angled position, right? So he's not taking big hits, right? Like we saw in those Yamatos. Now, granted, the German battleships are a little bit tougher to Citadel, but even so, he's made the right move, even though his team is totally screwed. So that's why I was just kind of like, like this isn't a particularly good game. I don't even know if we get another hit on this Kurfürst, but we are at 109,000 damage, right? Like, that's pretty good. But yeah, Shimakaze torpedoes. Look, we only got 6 hits. And we have 109,000 damage, right? So, yeah, this is everyone's destroyer that they love to hate, especially battleship players, right? But, I mean, to give Shimakaze players credit, like, and myself included, like, it's not the one-all, be-all. People like to hate on it because they don't play destroyers, right? But, like, I'm like, it still has, like, its disadvantage. There's still a way to counter it. It did get nerfed a little bit, but I would say it's, like, pretty negligible. I don't know, a few months back, the concealment got, like, nerfed, right? Like, so it's a little bit easier to pick it up a little bit sooner, but I didn't have mine at max concealment anyway, because I had built into, like, a little more torpedo damage or, like that kind of stuff into my build, into how I have it set up in my commander. But yeah, he might have sonar going right now, but Yeah, I sent those 2 racks, and then I was like, all right, I'll save one in case he turns. And then sure enough, he turned, and so I sent that 3rd rack that direction, and then he like stopped turning, right? So like we had some torpedoes go on each side of him and didn't get any hits, right? But as you can see, like their enemy cruiser is down there. He's getting picked on by one of our other battleships, and then most of the rest of the team here is chasing Skurfers down. So we're gonna set our smoke screen. He's getting close. I think my concealment was 5.4, so I'm like, all right, I'll set smoke. And then with their enemy cruiser going down there, got dove struck by our other destroyer. I'm like, all right, we're going to end up winning on points here. So we'll set our smoke screen and shoot our guns, try and get a little bit more damage out of this, a little bit more XP, right? But yeah, it was just like, it was like this dude made the smart play. He just was unfortunate. The rest of his team did not follow suit, right? But and for the most part, if you think about it, like it's we have typically the same number of battleships and destroyers on each team, right? Sometimes it's off by like 1 or a little bit, right? So it was just kind of a matter of like luck of the draw of where spawning happened. But like I said, like there's a counter to it, and that one guy, he did that counter, right? And now he's not very high up on the XP board, but whatever. I feel like that's what I would have done, right? But I'll go through my commander build, my setup for this. This Shimakaze lady is just a Geist, right? So if you see up in the top right corner, we're using Ryazo Tanaka, right? So I always say everybody's name's wrong because, I'm an idiot. But yeah, I'm using Space Fishy here. So really, I'm just for inspirations, just torpedo stuff. So you might not have Space Fishy, but really, I'm just like either torpedo damage, torpedo reload, like pick those types of things. We're going all in on torpedoes with the Shimakaze because that's really all it's got going for it, right? And then the base trait for this commander is, of course, more torpedo damage. So then we'll build into speed and reload time. I don't mind taking the nerf on the main battery since we just don't use it that much. Like, I'm really all about the torpedoes. And then sea detectability range here too. I'd rather keep, I don't want to take the nerf there. And then same here, like you could pick range, but like my opinion on adding range to torpedoes that already have really good range is like that's that much further that torpedo's traveling, or you're really going to hit something, because that's that much more time that an enemy has to change course, right? And then also your torpedo spread, they're all going to be spread out even more, right? So they're not going to be as clumped together anymore at that point either once they've traveled that far. So and then of course Unstoppable is my go-to for destroyers. It's really tough for me to get away from that one. That's my style, right? The other thing too about not having paid commanders is you can get your legendary rank up quite a bit easier. So if these are the standard included commanders that you can get from regular commander crates, right? They're easier to rank up, right? So we're 899 kills in our Shimakaze. So we'll get to 1,000 one of these days. We'll do a special episode maybe, right? But thank you guys so very much for watching my video all the way through. Yeah, like I said, it was just like we kind of did our little destroyer job, right? And we capped the zone. Then we moved in and we kind of torpedo screened the battleships and kind of got hits where we could, right? But thanks for watching. Do make sure to follow the channel. I really do appreciate anybody that's subscribing to the channel. That really does help me out a lot, and also helps motivate me to keep going with videos, right? So we're on a pretty good daily streak for Legends videos, right? So we won't want to break that. All right, until next time, see you tomorrow, guys.